Hello and welcome. I am the Imperishable, and on today's episode, we're going to have a look at this big summer preview and having a look at all things Team Kings, but also have a dabble into what we think is going to come into this campaign book. It's a bit weird that it's called an Arcane Journal. I think everyone jumped on straight away thinking, oh no, it's just for Tomb Kings. I wish it was, but it doesn't seem to be it. It seems very much a bit here, bit there, adding things in for multiple things, and kind of let's have a chat about what we think is going to come up, what I think and hoping is going to come up, and also look at some gorgeous new models. So last Friday there was the big summer preview that had loads of stuff. It was really kind of cool to see from the 40k side. There's a couple 40k models I did quite like the look of. Maybe more probably the Deathwatch kill team. I really do like the look of Deathwatch. All the way to obviously Chaos Dwarves getting dropped, and I think basically every model you can use for an old world thing, like the big stand-up demon probably would be used for the Iron Demon. But obviously, most important to all of us that we all seem to care is obviously the old world releases and what they talked about. So, starting off, they showed off some phenomenal models. They showed off the Royal Heralds, which, if you read it properly, it's not just royal, like a Royal Herald, like a BSB person. It can be made to make tomb princes on foot or mount. Upon a barded skeleton steed, which I'm thinking is going to be a new mount option in the book to come, because we don't have a barded skeletal steed, so that'd be quite interesting. But I think this kit is phenomenal. The models themselves just look fantastic. Sorry, I tried to zoom in there. I just think they look phenomenal, and what's great about them is there's 3 right and left options, interchangeable across either model. So personally, I think I'm going to see myself get 2 of these, maybe even 3, with the idea of I make a foot Royal Herald, a foot King or Prince, obviously a foot mounted one, but with the spare Herald piece, try and make it onto one of my chariots to make a Herald chariot, because that'd be quite fun. I just think these just look phenomenal, and they seem like they've got a lot of detail compared to what we currently have, but I don't think they're too complex. Like, given the fact that I hate painting, I don't think this is a big enough worry for me. I quite like it. You can quite easily get into the bone. The gold is very on top, and there's not a lot of loads of hidden layers and different things. I just think these are phenomenal, and painted right, they're going to look fantastic. The next kind of thing we got shown off was Lich Priests as well, which are fantastic to see. Unfortunately, I don't have my one right next to me, because the old Lich Priest, the little metal one with the little rod, it's very kind of 90s vibe, 2000s when they came out. But these are beautiful once again. I love seeing all the kind of the flesh, because the whole point is the Lich Priests are very human. They've got a lot of their flesh still. The one on horse just looks, it's just screaming out, and these models are just fantastic. And what I find quite crazy is that they released Forge World resin ones of a Herald before, like when the book came out, and these just look so much better in my opinion. Because I was going to buy the Herald and it was like 26 quid for one model because it's Forge World resin. I'm thinking these will probably be in that same kind of booster pack. I think they'll be about 30 quid for the 2 models, or it's like 27.50. So these are just fantastic. I'm definitely getting one of these, probably 2 of these, and making up some different ones. So overall, the new models are fantastic. And what's really good to see, I know it's Team Kings, everyone's like, oh, they're going to try, but it shows that they want to create things. I just wish it's not just characters, because it feels like what they're doing with 40k, with when your codex come out, you get a new character model, because it's easy to make one model rather than making a whole refresh. But it would be good to see new core, like a new chariot or new horse archers, those types of things, because as I say, I've got models that are sculpted from since I was born, before I was born even. It shows you how old these things are. So the model's fantastic, very much looking forward to them, very much hoping rules can make them actually having some cavalry, Team King cavalry, be quite interesting. Because if we go on to the Arcane Journal, the War of Sexual Fury, this sounds fantastic for Team Kings. Sounds like it's a whole new journal just for the Team Kings. It's how they kind of talked about it. They showed it off, because I was thinking, there's going to be an army infamy. It's very much on just the Tomb Guards. themselves. I know we've got Royal Host, but that's more chariot spam. I mean Tomb Guard themselves with maybe a like Tomb Guard cavalry. That would be interesting. But no, it's not. It's full-scale invasion into the Border Princes and the Vaults, the mountain ranges to the South of Bretonnia, and the efforts of unlikely allies in resisting it. So this isn't a Tomb King Arcane Journal, it is a campaign book. So in this, it's 48-page supplement. Basically every Arcane Journal is the same size. There's lore behind it, which will probably take about half of it. And then there's the rules. So there's rules for mounts for Kemerian characters and the incantations of Mort Cult. This Kemerian characters, I am praying, is a prince on a snake. And that's what I want. I want you to be able to take a prince on a snake. Let Necropolis Knights have some character support. Because Necropolis Knights are cool, they're good, but they just don't have the support. They can't get their weapon skill up. They can't increase their movement. They can't really take any bonuses without that character. They're just a lone gun. So that's what I'm hoping for, is that. Or, because we're starting to see these Mountain Knights, we're going to maybe see some better just generic mounts for the Tomb Kings. So maybe even like a Tomb Guard chariot, so it makes it a little bit better, or like a heavy chariot, and you've got to create it yourself and use Sectra's one as an example. But I'm very interested about the mounts of Kemerian characters. So I think it's going to be Necropolis Knights, a heavy chariot, and a barded warhorse. They're the three I think you're going to see. Pretty easy to do. Give them a page each, or even you could probably, if there's 4, you do 2 on each page. I think that's what we would see. I'm hoping for a heavy chariot because I like the idea of being able to crush through some chariot characters. So yeah. Then the incantations of the Mort Cult. I've heard people talk about this ages ago, so this is when it came out with that, where potentially it might be like their own kind of more spells, so like separate spells, or potentially what I'm hoping for with these incantations of the Mort Cult is like unit upgrades, so like runes for the dwarves, so I can put it onto my Ushabti and I upgrade them for 25 points, and normal Ushabti have MR1, or if I can do it onto my Kemerian War Sphinx and it gains a pip of toughness with 50 extra points, or something to up them that way, because that feels like what the cult do. They're all about the animuses, the things they've created, so like tomb scorpions and buffing them, and then obviously the magic side, but more on the incantations, so that's more the resing, the support, so not I'm going to fire off the spell to hurt you, it's more how can I raise myself up. So I'm thinking more on the lines of boosting the like bone giants kind of thing, those types of things. That's what I'm hoping for. There. But we'll see. It might be something completely different. It might be a new spell mechanic. It might be each wizard you get 3 points and you get to spend them during each turn, etc. Something like that maybe. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, and this is where I think there is more than 2 armies of infamies in it. Various armies of infamy. So various, to me, is multiple. So if they were going to say there was 2 of them, they would use the word 2. They've used it before. If we look down here with the one down here, and a new army of infamy, they've stated 1 singular new army of infamy. And I'm pretty sure when they've done the previews for the book, on the Sunday previews, for like when they all came out, they stated there's 2, and they told you the 2 that are in there. Various armies of infamy is getting my hopes up, because we see there's Dwarven Slayers, which I think everyone's excited for, even me. I don't own a dwarf. I love the idea of Slayers, like Total War Warhammer. I always wanted to do a Ungram kind of one, because I just think it's so cool. So that might get me buying some Dwarf Slayers and just going for a full fun list going at you. The Border Princes, and this is getting talked about, this is the new Dogs of War. They've changed up the name because it's in that region of where we're fighting. That's the whole point of it. It's not exactly where the Dogs of War are. It's more like to the left-hand side kind of thing. So you think the Total War map. So that's where they're thinking the Border Princes, but it's the new Dogs of War. And if it's true, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. I've seen rumours of the pikemen are back, and the whole point is you choose what prince you are, and it ups your overall prints either by stats wise or what units they can get. There's one that's a looter, and apparently you can get access to Tomb King magic items. So seeing some cool items on some big units could be quite interesting. Be cool to see, let's say, like a Destroyer of Eternities or something like that. But that's interesting. And I like that idea because it just adds a lot of variety from one thing. There's like 7 of them. There was a Dwarven Friend, a Merchant, a Looter, an Imperial Officer. So you get stuff from the Empire and all that. But because it says various and it's shown off 2, and it said including, they didn't say, oh, these are the 2 new ones. I think there's more. I think there might be a Tomb Kings one. That's all about mounted hard and fast. I know we've got the Royal Host, but that delves into the mounts, potentially. I think there'll be one for Tomb Kings. And I think there'll be another one. I don't know what. No rumours have shown off. I'm thinking there'll be 4 Armies of Infamy. There'll be at least one more. And I think there's going to be a Tomb Kings. But I feel there's going to be a 4th one. Do you think the amount of rules it takes? The Board of Princes one saying that will take up a few pages. So I think this will be a page. This will be a page. Dwarven Slayer one might just be 3 pages, 4 pages. Board of Princes could be 6, maybe 8. So that's 12, 14. There's still a lot more room. I'm thinking there'll be one more, at least. And I think it's going to be a Tomb Kings. That's what I'm hoping for. Because you would think, they've brought out a whole book about the War of Sectra's Fury. Surely there's going to be a Tomb Kings Army of Infamy. Why is there Dwarf Slayers? I understand it's where they're fighting in the kind of the region, the Border Princes and the Vaults. That's why they've got them. But I think there'll be a Tomb Kings Army of Infamy as well. Calling it right now. When we see the book, or when it finally gets shown off, it's going to be a 3rd one of the Tomb Kings Army of Infamy. This is fantastic, and I think this is the way it needs to go. Old World is very much, we've got our models, we play with them. People have owned their models since 3rd edition, so they haven't needed to buy anything. People talk about, all these books, they're costing money, what a waste, blah, 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 just get the PDF. I quite like them. They're ways to spice up the game, and you don't need them. You can be a top-tier Tomb King player with just the Ravaging Hordes. You can play Double Dragon and Necrosinks and go at you. You don't need that. Because the whole point is, it's not adding... Most Arcane Generals don't add units to the whole overall roster. There's a couple, so Gigantic Spawn, that's like the only one I can really think off the top of my head. So I'm really intrigued by these, and it's a way to give support to multiple armies at once. So this is at least helping 3 armies: Tomb Kings, Dwarves, and now like an Empire, Dogs of War thing. So that's going to be fun. The next one was probably be something to do with the Warriors of Chaos coming down, and it's the Empire and Bretonia holding against them, etc. And then you'll see one with the Orcs and Goblins, and maybe they have an internal war and they're fighting off Cathay, and that's how Cathay get their 3rd army. I'm very interested by these books. Usually from previews, it's probably about 2 to 3 months before we see it. That's usually what it was. I think that's what it was when we got shown off the Beastmen and Wood Elves. I'm praying it comes out sooner, so before WTC in September, because I would love to see it and just play with it and see what everything that's there. But this is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. It's got my hype for Dwarves. I know I've seen Richie's video of just like screaming like Slayers, and this is where I think maybe I slow grow Slayers instead of doing a slow grow Cathay. Owen, our Empire player, he just wants to play Dogs of War. He just absolutely loves him. He's got the old metal pikeman. So this is just jump for joy from him. He's showing off all the leaks. He's already theory crafting. So everyone's excited, and that's really cool. And that's what's really good. Okay, into the Arcane Journal then. The final thing, looking at Cathay. It's all about this Jade Fleet. It's their new thing. It's a grand alliance between Grand Cathay and people of Westerland. So people are talking about this. It's a bit of a weird one. It's a bit like the Seagull Garrison, where it's limited units in that way because they're coming from the boats, but they're picking up mercenaries, they're picking up Empire units, and that kind of thing. It's all about using their allies to support. They did say there's no more units or no more models getting produced, but I was going to say I think this is where you see another dragon, but I don't think you would do, because they're only going to show one off. They're going to save those for like proper releases when they do the next stage, and it's Warriors versus Cathay, and it's the other Mao Ying, whatever the other ones are called. There's 7, I believe, there's 7 dragons, so you're going to see all 7. It's a bit like the Primarchs and 40k. You will see them, I think, eventually. But it's there, as you see, Fraser. It's all about fighting with the North, so we'll see that. Norman reaches the Empire fleet led by Mao Ying, sets out the ground cafe intent on beating back the squadrons of the Dark Gods and diplomacy with the Empire. So it's going to be a combination of this Jade fleet. So I don't think you'll see, saying that, you'll still see balloons, so great, you'll still see them. But I think there'll be something limiting to it. I was going to say, you can see Sentinels still. I just don't know. Or maybe there's just going to be more things to be added to. Or like these Jade Warriors are actually like Sea Warriors, and they're better in certain things. They're faster, but they're light armor, that kind of thing. I think this is going to be really interesting to see what happens. There's only one army of infamy. They've talked about it. They talked about new generation tables for multiplayer games, linked battles. So this is, once again, it's not like just an arcane genre. This is pushing towards more like another way to play the game, a bit like this campaign book talks about. I like the multiplayer games, because that would be interesting, because the idea, it might have like Triumph Treachery, where like 3-player or 4-player, where you say I can only attack you this whole turn, so I can't do anything to hurt you, I can only defend against the others. So this is interesting. I think that is going to see some like 4-way play, so stuff that me and my mates on the more chill narrative side are very much looking forward to it. And saying that, that was my idea of my Warhammer Stag, is this type of big multiplayer game. So really interesting. Very excited for this, because I think it will set the standards. This War of the Setch's Fury, of what you'll get from the others. So we've got 2 armies being hit, and then a 3rd one kind of created. Maybe we'll see another one, and it's like another weird kind of Border Prince's army made, or it'll just be 3 armies together. Maybe we see Orcs, Chaos and Bretts, and seeing Bretts getting overwhelmed, etc., and they're fighting back. And then you see Wood Elves and High Elves fighting Beastmen, kind of thing. Something like that, maybe. Or like Forest Goblins at that point. So these, I think, are going to be great. We'll see how it goes when it finally comes out, what it actually brings to the party. If it brings like 2 things for the Tomb Kings, it'll be a bit sad, given the fact it's all etc., but we'll see. But I will be buying all of these, and I will most likely, because they're plastic, be buying them from Firestorm Games, because I get my about 15 to 20% off, depending on what you buy from Firestorm Games, so I'm very much looking forward to it. So an absolutely fantastic preview I thought from Games Workshop for the old world, and just in general, showing off so much stuff, and everything looks really good. There was nothing I was disappointed with. I'd say I really liked all the Space Marine stuff, which was it. Captain Lysander, I really thought he was cool. But on the whole old world stuff, I think there's lots of cool things coming, and it's a good precedent for those army rulebooks. I'm just hoping this next year we don't just get characters, because given the fact that every army is basically out in a year and a half, a year and 7 months or something, less than that, a year and 5 months, it'd be great to always see these upgrades isn't just a character. I know it's easier for GW to do, but it'd be cool to see some updated units, such as Tomb King skeletons. Wood Elves need some basic infantry upgraded. High Elf, Spearmen, stuff like that. Those moles are like getting to the age of older than me, etc. So it'd be nice to see they get upgraded, like the base infantry. I know it's a lot more work, because it costs a lot more money for GW, and their returns probably won't be as great, but it'd be really good for the game to see new things. So as I say, Cathay, broken is broken, and everyone's buying it. It's good for the GW stock, but they haven't. The prices on Cathay aren't that bad, which I quite like. Battalion box is the same price. The Skylander is the size. It's bigger than a Knight in 40k, so it's understandable for its price point. It's massive. Same with the Sentinel, which is 60 quid, but big things are that expensive, like the Mealworms, extortionate. So I'm happy with that, and I'm hoping they'll keep the same idea and they won't just jack up the prices. But hey, we will see. As I said, I'm hoping these will come out on preview in the next 2 months. I'm hoping before the Welsh Open too, because I'd be interested to play with the new mounts or the mount options and the incantations and the more cult, because it just adds more flavour to the game. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Ta-ra!